Well, everything went very well. The conditions were great, and I exposed a couple sheets of film on that scene. And as I was setting up my camera, there was this herd of bighorn sheep that were not too far away, kind of on a slope just up the slot canyon. And then they had moved over to the point where they were on this overhanging ledge to the point where my camera is set up down below, and they're just up top, and I saw them peeking down and looking at me. And the area where I was set up, it's this long, narrow corridor with these pretty tall walls on either side. And the whole herd gathered at the sort of the end of this slot canyon, and they were testing to see whether they could, head up where I was, and ultimately they decided to head back down canyon there. And so I'm giving them some space so they can move along and do all their sheep stuff. But when you see those the big males that are with the herd, big old horns and just full of muscle, yeah, you don't want to mess with them. So giving them some space. And there was another composition a little further down the canyon that I was hoping to shoot today, but I think I have missed the window of light for that one on account of the traffic jam with the sheep. But that's just fine because it'll give me something to do tomorrow morning. But in the meantime, after I give the sheep a little more time to move along, I'm going to head back to my truck. I'm going to grab some lunch and then set up and explore some of the washes to see if I can find some interesting scenes along there. But the conditions today are absolutely beautiful. Blue skies, calm wind, and we'll see what the rest of the day brings. Well, good morning, everyone. I have returned to where I was yesterday when the sheep so rudely interrupted my second composition for the day. And I'm very much ahead of the light, so I have an opportunity to set up a composition on that as well as just to look around and see if I can find anything else. But yesterday afternoon, I didn't end up shooting any more photos. But I did do a fair amount of wandering. Didn't really record any video of it, but I found some very interesting subjects for perhaps some other trips later down the line. I think some of the areas will need to dry out a little bit. But now I'm just wandering around. I'm gonna go set up a composition. I'm gonna wait for the good light, which I've got a couple hours or so plenty of time to craft a composition. It's a beautiful, calm morning here in Zion. It's going to be a fantastic day. Well, it is now early evening, and today's been a fairly busy day. After shooting the photo this morning of those rocks, I took a little bit of a longer way back to my truck and then found an area with some really beautiful, still very wet mud ripples. And so I used my long lens, my 450 millimeter lens, and found a pretty clean composition of that. So I exposed a single sheet of Provia on that. And then while I was wandering around a little bit more, I found that there was this grove of maple trees, and the color looked a little bit awkward from the top. It was almost too bright of color, if that makes any sense. But from down below when they were backlit, well, that looked pretty nice. And so I set up a single composition there and exposed actually 2 sheets of film on that. But before doing that, I was walking back to my truck, and I wasn't as careful as I should have been, and took a little spill because there's some kind of a dormant moss or some sort of something that grows on the rocks. And when it gets wet, it's like ice. I'm usually pretty good about looking where I'm stepping, but I was kind of excited after seeing that scene with the maples. And so I stepped on a bad spot, took a little tumble, and banged my wrist pretty hard. I don't think anything's broken. I think it's just a little traumatized. So taking it easy with that. But tomorrow, I mean, the color is still only really getting better on the maples. The mud is starting to dry. And so I think I'm going to stick around tomorrow as well. This is the time frame where I usually end up leaving, but I think there's still some really good stuff to find here. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes with my wrist. We'll see how it goes with conditions, but I think I probably have a couple days left in me, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. By the following morning, my wrist was extremely painful. Making simple tasks such as tying my boots, zipping my jacket, or starting my Forerunner quite difficult. I would have loved to stick around longer, but after spending 10 days in the field with 35 sheets of film exposed, my decision to head home was an easy one. All of my photographs from the final day were adversely affected by the expired film, including my photo of the cactus with the fractured sandstone wall. I'll need to revisit the subject next year and hope it doesn't significantly change. I'm not overly excited about the photo of the shattered rocks, though I did enjoy my time spent while composing this image. And although I find the mud ripples to be a fascinating subject, this image has proven quite difficult to work with on the computer. I am quite satisfied with the photo of the maple trees against the sandstone wall. I took this photo shortly after smashing my hand, which thankfully healed after several weeks with no broken bones. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you around next time. If you enjoy this ad-free and clickbait-free content and want to help me live my dream, a voluntary contribution of just $24 a year helps keep my gas tank full and my film freezer stocked. For more information on how to support me and my work, please visit the donation section of my website at benhorne.com/donate. I also have prints and my portfolio box set available on my website. You can find a direct link down below in the show notes. Thanks in advance for your support.